Also talk with one of his top players, Roy Livingstone, outstanding wide receiver from Miami, Florida, will join us a little later in the program. Coach Shonda Sanders will join us also from the women's basketball program. New head coach at Davenport. We'll talk to her, learn about her program and such. And we'll review the Saturday's game when Davenport tasted defeat for the first time this year. And then we'll also preview this Saturday's game against Grand Valley State at home. Not only the final home game of the regular season, but clearly the biggest game in Davenport football program history. We'll get to that a little bit later on. But first, we're joined by the Coach McEwen. Coach, let's talk a little bit about the game. Your guys battled. They had to battle not only the opponents, but they had to battle the elements. It was probably the worst weather we've had this year with the rain and the wind and everything. But your guys battled, came up short, and I'm sure you learned a lot from it.
We did. You know, going in, our staff's pretty familiar with the staff over at Ferris State University, and you know, a number of our players are familiar with them as well. And we have a lot of respect, you know, for that program and from what they've achieved. You know, you're talking about a Division II program right now over the past, 10, 11 years that truly runs that land. They own that landscape. They've been, more than a class act and doing things the right way. And we knew going into that game it was going to be a tall order for us. We have a number of players that are very familiar with them, and then we have a number of players that's not familiar with them. And, we had a team meeting about that contest, and they understand what it takes to play at that level. They've had to experience, a team that understands how to play the game for 4 quarters, every down, and our players know in order to compete at that level, you've got to be physical for 4 quarters. There's no plays off, and it was a good experience. This group has not experienced a loss this year, and our locker room was devastated. Our locker room was devastated, and
that's not all bad, is it, Coach?
No, it's not. It's not. As a head coach, we see things through a different lens, and all I could tell you is this: I like what I saw. So they know we have to brush that one off. We got to get up and get ready for, like you said, man. It's the biggest game in our history.
And we will get to the Grand Valley game in our final segment of the show tonight. One of the things that, we saw some with Saginaw Valley, a couple other teams earlier this year, but Ferris State moved their guys around offensively more than any team by far that we've seen this year. Would you agree?
Oh, yeah. The other team that shifts in motions and things like that was Michigan Tech.
Yeah.
But when we talk, I made a statement here when I said we've got to be good in angles.
Yes,
and
you brought that. You stressed that.
I stressed that, and guess what? We were not good in angles. As well as our defense played in spurts, we gave up big plays, and we haven't been giving up big plays on the year. And it had nothing to do with scheme. Okay, we understand their scheme. It was about us out in space against their athletes, and their players made plays. We just did not make the play when we had an opportunity to make the play. And when we reviewed the film and guys saw that they're there to make a play, we just didn't make the play. We didn't make the play, and credit has to go to, Ferris State. They've been in those positions many a times. It was senior day. They had to win that game in order to, keep pace with the GLIAC and the opportunity to possibly share. That was a tall order, for this group that we had going into Big Rapids. And it was our last home game, for the regular season. So I'm proud of my boys, the way that they fought hard. We didn't have a lot of penalties in that ball game, but we had some timely penalties in that ball game. So once again, it was really a learning experience for us, and we're going to get better from it.
Yeah, I thought it was a great opportunity. Coaches will say that sometimes you can learn more from a loss than a win, but that doesn't have to be that way. You can learn from a win just as well, as you found out here. But again, it was the first time, I think, Well, not I think. It was the first time with what's going on and that type of atmosphere.
Oh, yeah.
Going to a play in the defending national champions on their field and that. I got to think that a lot of your younger players especially are going to take that, pocket that, and come back even stronger in the future.
Well, they don't have a choice. The newcomers, they got a taste of GLIAC football. Okay, they got a taste of GLIAC football. The veterans on our team, they've been experiencing GLIAC football, but now it was at a different stage. It was at a different level, and it's not often that you have a Ferris State football team with their backs against the wall, and our players found out immediately what it feels like to go against a team that's hungry. I really thought that Ferris played well on both sides of the football. Our offense, they stopped us. Okay, we had a couple times to make plays, but for the most part, we didn't play well in in that area of the game where you have to make plays. Okay, there's times during a game you have to make plays, and we weren't able to do that. And the credit has to go to the defense, for putting us in that position.
Yet, and the defense did, but with everything going against it, with it being a must-win for Ferris State and everything, all we talked about there you were. You come back, you score on that opening drive of the third quarter. It's a one-score game in the third quarter.
It's a one-score game, but what did they do?
They responded. Credit to them.
They responded.
Right
and that's championship DNA. And I've got to give credit to our team, for coming out of halftime and responding the way that they did. For us to get into that situation, having a one-score game with about 9 minutes left, in the third quarter, says a little something about where we're at as a program, because for the most part we've been blown out, by Ferris State, and since we've been in the GLIAC, and it's been tough sledding for a program that's hit that stage, and they're just still climbing. So it was a learning experience, but we've gotten better from it.
Well, one of the reasons it was a one-score game was your outstanding wide receiver, Roy Livingstone. We're going to take a break here. We're going to come back and visit with Roy Livingstone, senior from Miami, Florida. Stay with us, so take a quick time out and visit with our good friends from Van Dyke Mortgage. The Davenport Coaches Show continues here from Uccello's in Caledonia.
West Michigan home buyers, if you're considering lenders, please contact Mario Flores at 231-638-0200 at Van Dyke Mortgage on the Lakeshore. It's a wonderful time to be in the market for a mortgage when you choose Van Dyke Mortgage on the Lakeshore. Van Dyke's loan experts know how to help you prepare and help you get approved. Don't wait for the market to be perfect. Start your planning with Mario Flores, branch manager at Van Dyke Mortgage on the Lakeshore.
Mario Flores, NMLS number 135862. Van Dyke Mortgage Corporation, Corp. NMLS number 3035. 231-638-0200. MarioFlores.VanDykeMortgage.com. Van Dyke Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
Back to pass Whitaker again. Pump fake. He's going deep down the right sideline for Livingstone. He has got it for the touchdown. Touchdown, Davenport. Roy Livingstone climbs the ladder and pulls it in. And DU right back in this ball game with 12:10 to go in the third. And that was an outstanding play by Roy Livingstone, the 5'11 senior from Miami, Florida, who joins us now on the Davenport Coaches Show. And first, let's talk a little bit about the game overall. Roy, Coach talked about how they just made more plays than we did on Saturday, and that was probably the difference.
Yes, sir. I do agree on that. They did make a ton of big plays on us on Saturday. And, I mean, that was a learning lesson. It's time to move forward and take on the next opponent. For
yourself, again, that was a terrific grab. You're 5'11", but when I watch you out there going after a 50-50 ball, you look like you're 6'3", 6'4". I mean, you've got a great leaping ability.
Yes, sir. That is how I imagine myself out there on the field. They always say big-time players make big-time plays in big-time games. I was just happy that I was able to make that catch for my team and was able to put points up on the board for us.
Roy, you're part of an entire receiving corps. that has just been incredibly productive this year, along with, of course, with Jason Whitaker, who has been phenomenal. What's it been like to be a part of a squad like that, where you've got so many weapons that you send out there on every play?
I mean, it's great, when you got guys like Preston Smith, Cy Barnett, Sherrod, Michi, Zelly, it's a lot of us. If anyone goes down, the next guy is always ready to come in and make a big play for our team. That's how we've been training all year long.
Roy's from Miami, Florida. You're a long way from home, Roy. Tell us how you found out about Davenport, how you were first contacted, and what was it that made you decide to come up north and play and go to school here?
I kind of got in contact with Coach Mello, and I asked a ton of questions, and he had a lot of good answers, and I thought it was a great decision.
What really sold you? Was there one particular factor that said, okay, I'm going up to Michigan to play?
When I kind of asked Coach Mello, I asked him, how much did you guys throw the ball, and how much do you believe in your playmakers? And he said Coach Sparky was a great guy, and that I like him, and if I can make plays, then he's going to do whatever he can to try to get me the ball so we can help our team get victories here.
Now, again, it's been a prolific offense. They've led the GLIAC in so many categories in passing and receiving all season long for Davenport. How soon was it once you came in? Because you've got also Johnny Saavedra's an outstanding quarterback as well. Sir. How early was it on it this summer when you guys realized, hey, we're going to put some points up here? Some big points.
When we all just locked in and everyone was on the same page in fall camp, we kind of knew we were going to be pretty good, but we didn't know how good we were going to be. And we still actually have potential to get even better. Last week was a learning lesson, and I hope we come out this week and, show what we could really do and what we've really been working on.
All right, it is a huge game. Let's talk back about your high school days. Miami Northwestern High School under Coach Max Edwards.
Yes, sir.
How did Coach Edwards help you as a player and as a human being to become where you are today as a college student athlete?
Coach Max preached a lot about, going to class and that, it's not all about football. So he prepared us as men, young men. So when we go to college, we know exactly what to expect. He kind of worked us out, how the college coaches work us out here. So it wasn't nothing that I wasn't used to when I first got here or got enrolled in college, period. So.
What about being this far away from family and friends back home in Miami? How tough has that been for you?
It's been kind of tough, especially not seeing my son. So.
How old is he?
He's 4 years old.
And is he back in Miami?
Yes, he's in Miami.
All right. So,
it's been kind of tough. I call him every day, but it's all right. They know I'm up here trying to handle business and make a better life for myself, so that's all that matters.
Roy, you're a sport management major. What are you thinking about doing it with that degree after you're done here?
Not really sure yet. Right now I was just locked in on football, but it's a lot to think about.
Okay, yeah, it absolutely is. And we just have you for the 1 year. This is it for you, right?
Yes, sir. This is my senior year.
Yeah, this is it. So we wish you the best. It's been a great having you there. And again, we got big things coming up Saturday, the biggest game in program history by far. And tell us what the mentality of the team is right now.
Man, the mentality this week is just play championship football. Put last week behind us and just come out victorious.
All right, well, fantastic, Roy. We appreciate you joining us, and best of luck to you down the road.
All right, thank you.
All right, we're going to take a break, come back and talk some women's basketball. The Davenport Coaches Show continues here on the Davenport Athletics Network. Stay with us.
Van Dyke Mortgage on the Lakeshore's commitment to finding the right home loan for you is second to none. The experienced licensed team at Van Dyke on the Lakeshore will work hard to give you a smooth and timely mortgage process from application to closing. Mario Flores, branch manager, Van Dyke Mortgage on the Lakeshore, has access to a full range of mortgage products so that you get the right loan with a great rate, the terms you're looking for, and costs to meet your unique needs. Call Mario Flores at 231-638-0200 today and experience the Van Dyke Mortgage difference.
Mario Flores, NMLS 135862, Van Dyke Mortgage Corporation.
Is that level okay?
NMLS 3035, 231-638-0200. MarioFlores.VanDykeMortgage.com. Van Dyke Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
And we roll on the Davenport Coaches Show live from Uccello's in Caledonia. Wonderful place, fantastic food, great service. It's your place to be wherever you want to be on any night for that matter, and especially with the 150 TVs. It's probably not 150, but it sure seems like it's everywhere you look. Everything you want to see is right here. We're going to switch gears and talk women's basketball. Shonda Sanders, the new first-year head coach of women's basketball at Davenport. What an exciting time for you. It's great to have you with us. Tell us what it feels like to be a Division II head coach.
It feels real good. I feel like I've been prepared for this, and I don't know, I feel like I kind of been molded into it. So I know it's going to be a challenge and to get the team where we want it to be and things like that. But I'm up for it, and I feel like I'm built for it. So.
Past 3 years, you were an assistant at Saginaw Valley, so you know D2 basketball, you know the league. What did you learn, do you think, or one or two things that really helped you get to the point where you could have your own D2 program?
Patience is one thing I learned, and then also I just learned a lot from Jenny at Saginaw Valley. Going there, being a part of her staff when we was there. I mean, Saginaw Valley was the bottom the year before. When we got there, so just seeing how she molded the team to get them back to being a top 4 team in the league, it just helped me with, okay, I think I'm ready to be a head coach, and I think I know what it would take to be a head coach and what it would take to rebuild a program.
Well, you certainly got the great training ground here, because no secret, women's basketball hasn't won a lot of games the last few years. So how much of your time is spent on the mentality of your players, getting them to start thinking they can win as opposed to actually, practicing and running plays and such? Is that a big part of it or not?
Preseason was a huge part of it. Every drill, everything we did, it was built to win everything, and it was to teach them where at the end of a drill in the beginning of preseason, we might have little mental laps at the end of the drill, so we might start making bad passes, missing layups, just doing little things. And of course, there's like a consequence when we don't win that drill. So now we're starting to really take heart to that, and we're starting to take control of that, and we're coming together at the end of a drill. They're not falling apart. They're like, hey, we could get this. Like we're maybe down a couple of points in this drill, but we have a minute left, and they'll get the goal and they'll win it. So I think now they're getting that mentality of starting the drill hard and then also finishing it.
You've got a lot of newcomers, Coach Sanders, but also you have to rely, I'm sure, on 2 or 3 of your veteran players. Tell us about the veterans and what you're expecting from them in terms of leadership.
I'm just expecting of them they've been a college basketball player before, where of the freshmen have not. So they understand the grind it takes to be a college athlete. They understand how long a basketball season is. And so I just look onto them to take the freshmen under their wings and that just say, hey, it's a long season. Anything can happen. Hey, this is how we do things. We go hard from the beginning of practice and the end of practice. We practice the same way in the beginning of the season to the end of the season. So just to take the reins and just to show them, hey, it's going to take, you're going to have your ups and downs, but we're all here together as a family.
What is the formula for Coach Shonda Sanders' basketball team? Is it are you a pressing coach? Do you like a value possessions coach? Or are you a push it whenever you can, shoot a lot of threes or whatever? What is that formula for Coach Sanders' team?
I'm definitely a push it. Let's score. Let's get layups and let's get threes. I'm just one coach. I just want to play fast and I want to score a lot of points. And I think our girls kind of saw that in our exhibition game. When we scored 109 points, it kind of showed them okay, we can play at this pace, we can score a lot of points, and we can still be a defensive stopping team and still score a lot of points offensively.
Have you named your captains yet, Coach?
Yes, I did. It's Lily and Scout.
Okay, so Scout Nelson.
Scout Nelson and Lily Gustafson.
Okay, what did you see from them that earned that honor of being captains?
Just their leadership and just the way, just from the beginning, when I got the position, kind of how they took the team kind of under their wing, took over the leadership, and then throughout the summer, and then during preseason, when we needed people to step up, like they took the reins when it came to like the conditioning and the weight room. And it's not also just by like voicing it; they showed it by their actions, the extra work they put in, and also them two are also nursing students.
Yes,
and they're like 3.3 or higher grade point average nursing student, and if anyone know anything, nursing is not easy. So
yeah, sometimes they have to miss practices,
yes,
even, right?
They have to miss practices, or they have to go to clinicals at 6 in the morning, and they're not done till 9 or 10 o'clock at night because of clinicals and classes and practice. And for them to come, they come to practice every day ready to work. They don't complain. They put in the extra work. If they have to leave practice early, leave practice, come into practice late, they're always staying later, maybe to get extra shots. If they miss weights, they're always going on their own, doing weights. They'll condition on their own. So just seeing that just showed me, okay, this is the foundation you want to build on. And this is also, I'm happy that our players have ones to look up to show, like, this is how you be a student athlete and then still be successful as an athlete.
Well, you mentioned Lillian Scout. Give us one or two newcomers that the fans are going to be excited to see wearing the Panther uniform this year.
I think Ellie Toney, fans are going to be excited to see with her. She's kind of like a stretch four. She has kind of like deep range from three, so that's going to be exciting. And then actually our freshman point guard, Alex Kolonitis from Midland, just the pace that she plays, and even though she's a freshman, she runs the team as if she's already an upperclassman as a point guard.
That's a compliment.
So that's a huge compliment. And the team, like, they go as she goes. So she already has that respect from her teammates, and she's just a freshman. So I think the fans will be excited to see that.
Coach Shonda Sanders, it's great to have you here. Best of luck. Your official opener is
this Friday.
This Friday
at Maryville.
Home.
No, we're at Maryville. And then Saturday, we're at Missouri St. Louis.
And
then
the home opener
Friday
is the following Friday.
Yes, Friday and Saturday.
That's great. All right. Well, it's great having you here.
Thank you.
We're excited to see your team out there. And so keep an eye on Coach Shonda Sanders' women's basketball program. We'll take one more break, come back with Sparky McEwen to talk about this week's big game against Grand Valley State. Stay with us here on the Davenport Coaches Show.
West Michigan home buyers, if you're considering lenders, please contact Mario Flores at 231-638-0200 at Van Dyke Mortgage on the Lakeshore. It's a wonderful time to be in the market for a mortgage when you choose Van Dyke Mortgage on the Lakeshore. Van Dyke's loan experts know how to help you prepare and help you get approved. Don't wait for the market to be perfect. Start your planning with Mario Flores, branch manager at Van Dyke Mortgage on the Lakeshore.
Mario Flores, NMLS number 135862. Van Dyke Mortgage Corporation, Corp. NMLS number 3035. 231-638-0200. MarioFlores.VanDykeMortgage.com. Van Dyke Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
And we're back for our final segment of the Davenport Coaches Show, live from Uccello's in Caledonia. Rick Berkey alongside with the head coach, Sparky McEwen. Coach, we teased it. I tried to stay away from it before, but we can't help. But with all the implications, league title on the line, playoff possibilities on the line, it's now no stretch at all to say this game against Grand Valley State this Saturday at home, the biggest game in football program history.
You know, every week we say the same thing. You ever notice that? This is the biggest game in our history. It's a short history, so every game's big, right?
Right.
But this is, without a doubt, the biggest game. You know, as an athlete, you know, you dream about these type of opportunities. And we talked as a team, and we just wanted to make sure our players understood that. I told you this last week, you know, don't make, the game bigger than the reality. And the reality is it's football. This is what you've done your entire life. But now here's the difference. You got to execute at a high level because you got the number one team in the country coming to your place. And they know that, they can, win this title outright. And so they're going to play at a different level as well. it's understood that, they're on the mission, and we need to raise our level of play. Bottom line.
Schematically, how different is Grand Valley from Ferris State? Because, they're different programs. What do they do similarly, and what do they do differently in general?
Okay. Physically, both these teams are the most physical teams that you're going to play all year. Okay? The speed is extremely different from other teams that you play. Okay? The defenses, tough. All right? When you make throws on offense versus these two teams, you have what we call NFL open. You got to be able to, squeak the pass in just those types of small openings, okay? And when you're on defense, man, it's a whole different type of toughness and hitting going on. And it's the type of stuff that, if you're real about what you do and you love to compete, this is the kind of game you want to be in. And for me as a coach, man, this is why I coach. I want my teams in these big games, and this is what we do. And I would be lying to you if I didn't tell you that, I'm really excited to see our team on this stage versus this type of competition, and to see how we handle, the moment.
No real secret right now. The weather forecast says it's going to be down in the 30s by the time we kick it off Saturday. Will that change your approach in terms of?
I don't know what forecast you saw. The forecast I saw, it said 90 degrees. It's going to be hot as hell. Okay, so you look at it any way you want, but it's going to be hot on that field. I'm just telling you that right now.
Absolutely. I don't want any part of that at all. All right, so again, as you said, you've told the guys you're more concerned about them getting too focused on the game on Tuesday or Wednesday than you are about not getting enough emphasis, right?
That's right, because there was things that we did in the last game, which was obviously we allowed it to be too big in our minds, and we blew some assignments, and maybe we're a little tight on making tackles, critical, crucial tackles. So we don't want to be that way, because that's not who we are. This group here, they've been loose the entire year, and that's who they are. I tell my guys, be who you are. Don't change. It's football. At the end of the day, it's football, and the type of players that we recruited to come play for us are guys that on their resume they've played in championship games, they've been champions. This needs to be unfamiliar. It doesn't need to be unfamiliar territory to them. Just revert back to who you were and just have fun, as a young man.
And we need all Panther fans from all across the state to gather and cheer on the red and black on Saturday.
We do, because we know they're going to come out strong, and we need to have our faithful, the Panther Nation to come out and represent. And, I couldn't be more happy for, West Michigan, this community. It's the 616 battle, and I know they advertise it as a 616, and, I'm a 616 guy too. So, it's the battle of the 616.
You and I both grew up 616 guys.
Absolutely. So why not have a little fun with it? And we know who they are. They're the number one team in the country, and we respect that, because they've done a lot to get to that point, and we got to put forth our best effort.
That's as good as it gets. Saturday, 12 noon, Myring Field on the campus of Davenport University. League title implications on the line. Playoff positions on the line. You want to be there, cheer on Davenport. So, Coach, let's go get them, and we'll talk about it again 1 week tonight here at Uccello's. That'll wrap it up here from the Davenport Coaches Show. For Coach Sparky McEwen, I'm Rick Berkey. And one more time, go Panthers.